Thank you. I heard Attorney General Sessions' announcement about taking children from their families when they're apprehended at the southern border. I had a chance to visit the southern border during the 2015 and to visit some detention centers down there where children were staying with their families. And there was a great deal of concern about the potential impact on the children of that. Do we have any projections about how many children? I think I heard the number 700 or 800 children who had already been taken from their families when they had come across the border. Do we have any sense of how many we're projecting for the next fiscal year? What kind of situation they're going to be in? How many foster families are going to be needed? What the cost of that is going to be? I am, as a former governor who used to worry about how we kept children and their families when there were difficult family situations, and remember that the research that I had shows that children were better off with their families in terms of their long-term development. Do we have any idea what the potential is for us to have an impact on these kids for years to come because we will have taken them away from their families?
We are working with the community to understand the science. I think another member had referenced studies that are available. As you know, we turn over all children to Health and Human Services that then goes through a process to find a custodial relationship or some other sponsor. I was very concerned when I came back to the department to learn that in many cases we did not do any sort of check before we turned over children, and so we now are making sure that those children are going to safe places, which I think is very, for obvious reasons, very important. In terms of separating, I just would make one more plea to everyone who can help me message. If you are fleeing and you have a need to come to the United States, please come to the ports of entry. You know, we will process your claim there, but if you come across the border illegally, you've broken the law, and we have to prosecute. It's the only way to keep our to have a border. So if you have a claim, you have children, you're concerned for your life, go to a port of entry. You'll be processed. We have asylum laws. But when you break the law, that's where it gets very difficult because we have to prosecute those who break the law. But we'd love to work with you more if you have other ideas on how to do that.
Are we messaging that to the Central American countries where many of these refugees are coming from?
We are. We have a youth outreach program we're doing in conjunction with the Department of State. We also are working with local radio stations as well with the Department of State to try to message this. Certainly the embassies are messaging this. But again, if you have a legitimate claim and you come to a port of entry, you haven't broken the law.
Right. That's what I'm asking. Yeah. Are we messaging that piece of it?
We need to do more and more, but yes, that is a campaign that we are in the midst of executing, yes.